Injustice doesn't always look the way we expect it to. Sometimes it wears a badge. Sometimes it hides behind a headline. And sometimes it moves so fast that truth never has a chance to catch up. Today, we're looking at 10 real stories of innocent people who are accused, blamed, or punished for crimes they did not commit. Their lives were changed forever. Not because they were guilty, but because the system failed them. Let's begin. Number 10. Richard Jewell, the hero turned suspect. In 1996, during the Atlanta Olympic Games, a bomb exploded in Centennial Olympic Park. One person lost their life. More than 100 others were injured. Before the explosion, a security guard named Richard Jewell noticed a suspicious bag and alerted authorities. His quick thinking helped clear the area and likely saved many lives. At first, he was praised as a hero, but within days, everything changed. Investigators began to suspect him. Details were leaked to the press. Headlines implied he might have planted the bomb himself. Cameras surrounded his home. His life was dissected on national television. For months, he lived under a cloud of suspicion. Eventually, he was cleared. Years later, the real bomber confessed. But by then, the damage was done. Richard Jewell never fully escaped the shadow of an accusation that should never have defined him. Number 9. Yoshiyuki Kono, blamed while grieving. In 1994, a deadly gas attack struck the Japanese city of Matsumoto. 8 people died. Hundreds were injured. Among the victims was Yoshiyuki Kono's wife, who fell into a coma after exposure. Instead of focusing on finding those responsible, authorities turned their attention to Kono himself. The idea spread that he had somehow caused the incident. Media coverage intensified. His name was dragged through headlines, all while he sat beside his critically ill wife. It wasn't until the following year, after another major attack, that a cult group was identified as being responsible. By then, nearly a decade of damage had been done to Kono's life and reputation. An apology eventually came, but apologies don't erase years of stigma. Number 8. Bijan Ebrahimi, ignored when he needed help. In 2013, Bijan Ebrahimi, a disabled refugee living in the UK, recorded his neighbor vandalizing his garden. He intended to show the footage to police as evidence. Instead, a false rumor began to circulate that he had been filming children. Police briefly detained him, then released him. That night, a crowd gathered outside his home. He made repeated calls to authorities, saying he feared for his safety. Those warnings were not taken seriously. Soon after, he was attacked and killed by a neighbor who believed the false accusations. Later investigations revealed serious failures in how his pleas were handled. His story is a painful reminder that ignoring someone's voice can have irreversible consequences. Number 7. Sally Clark, when statistics replaced evidence. Sally Clark was a mother in the UK who experienced every parent's nightmare: the sudden deaths of her 2 infant sons, years apart. Instead of compassion, she faced suspicion. An expert witness claimed the odds of 2 natural infant deaths in one family were astronomically low. That statistic became a central argument in court. She was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Years later, medical evidence revealed that infections could have caused the deaths. The statistical argument used against her was deeply flawed. Her conviction was overturned, but the years she lost and the emotional toll could never truly be restored. Number 6. Salaheddin Barhoum, a photo that changed everything. After the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing, investigators reviewed thousands of photographs. One newspaper published an image of a teenage boy carrying a backpack. The headline suggested he was a possible suspect. That teenager was 16-year-old Salaheddin Barhoum. Within hours, his face was circulating across the internet. Strangers accused him of involvement in an attack he had nothing to do with. Soon, authorities identified the real perpetrators. But for Barhoum, the fear and reputational harm had already taken hold. In the age of instant information, assumptions can spread faster than facts. Number 5. Lotfi Raisi, arrested in the aftermath of fear. In the days following the September 11th attacks, fear spread worldwide. Lotfi Raisi, a pilot living in the UK, was suddenly arrested amid claims he had trained some of the hijackers. He was held for months while authorities sought to connect him to the tragedy. Eventually, it became clear there was no evidence tying him to the attacks. He was released and later compensated, but being publicly linked to one of history's most devastating events left a lasting mark on his life. Number 4. Christopher Jeffries. Judged by appearances when a young woman named Joanna Yeats was murdered in 2010. Attention quickly turned to her landlord, Christopher Jeffries. His appearance and personality were scrutinized in tabloids. Stories portrayed him in an unflattering and speculative light. He was arrested. Headlines implied guilt before any charges were proven. Soon after, he was released. Another individual confessed to the crime. Jeffries later won legal settlements over the coverage. But once a narrative takes hold in the public imagination, it's not easy to undo. Number 3. Jean Charles de Menezes. A tragic mistake. In 2005, following attempted attacks in London, police were on high alert. Jean Charles de Menezes, a Brazilian electrician, boarded a train on his way to work. He was mistakenly identified as a suspect. In the confusion that followed, he was shot and killed. Subsequent investigations raised serious questions about how events unfolded. His death sparked global debate about security procedures and accountability. He had no connection to the incidents authorities were investigating. Number 2. Communities blamed too soon. After the Oklahoma City bombing in 1995, speculation spread rapidly. Before the suspect was identified, some communities, particularly local Muslim families, faced suspicion and hostility. Mosques reported threats. Individuals were harassed. Soon after, Timothy McVeigh was arrested. He had no connection to the communities that had been blamed. The rush to judgment left scars that lingered long after the facts became clear. Moments of crisis can expose how quickly fear turns into misplaced blame. Number 1. Timothy Evans, a conviction that changed history. In 1950, Timothy Evans was executed in the UK for the deaths of his wife and daughter. He had insisted that his neighbor was responsible. Years later, that neighbor was revealed to be a serial killer. Evidence showed Evans had been pressured into a false confession, and crucial information had been overlooked. He was posthumously pardoned. His case became one of several that fueled the movement to abolish the death penalty in the UK. A tragic reminder that some errors can never truly be corrected. These 10 stories share a common thread. Accusations can spread quickly. Public opinion can harden overnight. And sometimes, systems designed to protect people fail them instead. But they also remind us why accountability matters, why evidence matters, why patience matters. Justice isn't just about punishing the guilty. It's about protecting the innocent. If stories like these move you, consider following 4 more deep dives into real events that shaped our world. Because sometimes, the most important stories are the ones that remind us to pause and seek the truth.